Alright, I changed my mind. I'm gonna go through my little list here of why, or the things of like what I liked and what I didn't like. Mass Effect 3, gameplay, perspective. So, Mass Effect 1, there's a lot of experience to get from a lot of things, and it was like really streamlined. In the second game, third game, it's basically just as streamlined, but there's more experience given for stuff that's like mundane, going over to examine stuff like in Mass Effect 1. So they brought that back from 1 and put it in 3. But I had like written this down and like I didn't know if it was a pro or a con before. Like I'm guessing it's a pro because I liked it, because it basically makes you want to go through the environment and like look through stuff to see that, like make sure you don't like skip over anything that you might get an experience for, or like an item or some equipment that you'll get that you would like pass up. Uh, Yeah, the From Ashes DLC was really awesome, and like Javik as a character is pretty cool. I think he's a jerk, but he's a cool character, so I kind of don't. I would have really enjoyed it if that was on a disc and not a DLC. That was day one. The way that went down. Yeah, that's kind of effed up, but whatever. Like, I got the N7 edition, so it came with my copy, so I'm like, whatever. It didn't really factor into my version of the game because I got it with it anyway. So, but it sucks for people that don't get it. So, yeah. Let's see. It's really weird what they did with the Normandy, because it's like, yeah, 3 versions of the game, and like the ship is like the same ship, but it's not. It's kind of weird how that is, because well, I guess it's not really. It's not the same ship from 1, but it is the same ship from 2. It's just they've done stuff to make it different, and I think that's interesting and cool. But it's really weird because it's like because since you've been on the ship before, it's like you expect to go somewhere and be like, oh, this is that spot, but they retooled it to where it's different. But I don't know. It's just like a side note of interestingness. It's not like a pro or a con. It's just like, oh, that's weird how they have like the guards guarding the door since stuff happened before, or how like they brought back the where you can go down to the loading bay with the James and the pilot dude Cortez. I gotta say though, like, I guess I'd say like the one like real key thing in Mass Effect 3 that makes it so different from the other two is that there are no hub worlds really, with the exception of the Citadel, unless you count the Normandy, which I wouldn't, because it's not really a hub world. It's just like your HQ that's mobile. So your mobile HQ, and you have like one hub world. So like I thought that was like really cool and interesting how they did that. Like there's no hub worlds, but the flow of the game seems really different. It doesn't, but it doesn't hinder the flow of the game at all. It just makes it seem more set to where you're going to your finite conclusion at the end, and it works to that advantage of, well, you don't. Yeah, you're not going to have a lot of time in this game to just go to a hub world and I'm Commander Shepard, I'm going to solve everybody's problems. It's like, no, there's steps going down, and like, yeah, we could all die at any moment. So it's like you don't have time to just go to hub worlds and help people with like random side quests. So like I thought it was weird that they did that, because it's like everybody always says BioWare has like the same formula they use for every game. It's like they totally throw that out this game. So that's pretty cool. They did that. They shook it up. No 3 hub worlds, and like you only have one kind of sort of if you count Citadel. Well, I guess it's a hub world 'cause you can go back to it and like stuff changes, but it's pretty much like a hub world. So that's pretty cool. Like one hub world, and you have the Normandy as a mobile HQ, and then go ahead and get quests and do stuff from there. But I'd say work to the advantage of the game, like the story and like the way the game plays, because like the flow is just like the pacing. It works to where you're not go back to Ilium or go back to Chunga or go back to the Citadel. Or go back to Omega or Pharos or Vermeer or any of like the old hub. Well, Vermeer wasn't a hub world. Let's see. You had Pharos, Novaria, and wherever Liara was at. So it's like, yeah. Well, I guess that's not a hub world. She can't go back there. Okay, so I guess Novaria and the other one, Therum, those don't count because you can't go back to them. But Pharos and Novaria and the Citadel, those are the 3 from the first game. And then you had like Tuchanka, Omega, and Ilium in the second game. And this one, it's basically the Citadel, and like, yeah, like other planets that you go to, but they're not really hub worlds because you can't go down. and like talk to NPCs and get quests and do stuff. So I'd say it worked to the advantage of the game though. So I thought that was a good move on Bioware's part. Cause sometimes in forums people would be like, oh, Bioware has the same formula where they have 3 hub worlds and blah blah blah. So it's like oh, they just proved you wrong because the game was just as awesome and they had 1 hub world. So haha, suck it. Yeah. Next point to be had here. Oh man, okay. So all the banter between like squad mates and like crewmates, like both on and off ship, is just like it's out of the park. Like amazing job, just like so good. Cause it's really cool. They basically expanded the dialogue towards not just you go to the Normandy, talk to your squad mates, and they tell you whatever. It's like also when you're on the Citadel, which is the only hub world. I'll just say the Citadel. So when you're on the Citadel, you can also like meet up with them and talk to them about stuff, or they'll give you dialogue about stuff, and it's pretty cool. And like all the dialogue is like so good too, like always. So whenever you're meeting up with people from before and like you see them again, it's always like you get that time, like you get to reminisce about the old times, and it's like yeah, or just catch up on things. It's really cool, like so good. And they also took the Mass Effect 2 when like you'd have like Miranda and Jack or Tally and that last character I'm not gonna name because it's kind of a spoiler, how they'd have like confrontations about I don't like this person or I'm gonna kill you, and it's like you have to solve the problem or side with one of them. Even in the end, it would like decide who'd live or die. Like it doesn't have that extent of an impact on the game in Mass Effect 3 when like 2 people are like in an argument, you have to like side with one person or another. But they also like did it like outside of the Normandy, so you'll be on the Citadel and people will be like discussing stuff about like synthetics versus organics, and or like this hospital is blah 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 blah, side with the hospital or the patient, or there's like refugees coming in and they're like we need to dock here, and like someone at the Citadel is like we can't take you, and you have to like be like hey, let them in or don't let them stay, like so that's pretty cool how they did that. Let's see what else. Side quests, I'd say the loyalty missions were really good, and there aren't like you don't get that sense of in Mass Effect 3 of like these side quests actually mean something outside of the N7 missions. Like the N7 missions are good and everything, but they're not like up to par to me, in my opinion. Like the like loyalty stuff. Like, well, there are like the cool like missions that you get around the other places you go, but I don't know. Like I really like the loyalty missions, but they do feel like everything like it's kind of like weird. Like I said, like that like to reconcile the stuff from like Mass Effect 1 and 2 and like in this third game. So it's like Mass Effect 1, you get all these side quests from like people that be like, oh, Commander Shepard, can you go and find this thing on this planet, or go to this planet to help me, and like people always make the argument that like you don't have time to do that since like the galaxy is gonna like in the first game there's such an imminent threat that you have to solve. But I'd say until you got into like a certain part in the game, you didn't know that. So I think that argument doesn't really work. Mass Effect 3 though, I'd say the argument would work, which is why the side quests like kind of are structured the way they are. It still works, it's just not as like since that's the thing. It's like with these new side quests though, you see how like stripped out the exploration is, and they just like nerfed it completely, because it's like you don't get to go to a planet and like go down to it to go do whatever and talk to people like in Mass Effect 1, where like like I love the exploration and the Mako and all that stuff in Mass Effect 1 with the side quests. Like this one is just you scan a planet and you'll get the thing, and then you'll be like, oh, alright, and then like go back, hand in the quest. But it makes sense because every side quest you do works towards your galactic preparedness for the war, or whatever it's called, the EMS, or I forgot, it's 3-letter thing. But yeah, it all makes sense. So yeah. I thought it was a good job. So yeah, whatever. It wasn't like a bad like, oh, this is a terrible way they implement this thing. It's like it's actually pretty good. Like it makes sense, it works, and I enjoyed it. So yeah. Though I do wish that they did not just completely strip out the exploration, because that's easily one of my most favorite. That's easily my favorite aspect of Mass Effect 1, and that's like why that game grew on me, is because I didn't do the side quest the first time through, and then I did the second time through, but I didn't get all of them, and like I just ended up over each playthrough, I'd like uncover something new, or a new planet, or a new side quest, or a new character, or a new dialogue, and it's just like there's so much discovery in that game that I felt there was in Mass Effect 2, because that wasn't the case with side quests. You didn't get to really get to explore when you're on them, so you just like went in, did the stuff. They're still cool, but yeah. To me, like of the trilogy, Mass Effect 1 is my favorite game because of that, just because exploration and like the different worlds. Like I felt, to make the analogy of like Star Trek, I was Commander Shepard with an away team of my squad mates, and we were like exploring and investigating, and I didn't know I was going to be out there in space, so that's pretty cool. Whereas like 2 and 3, you kind of know what to expect since you've like known the universe and like what's out there, and like they kind of like add new elements into with like the Blood Pact, the Eclipse, and the Blue Suns, and like there's mercenary groups and also their new stuff. But 3 kind of like takes it all out, because if you play the demo, basically from the outset, it's like the stakes are so high that galactic civilization's being harvested the whole time. So it's like you have to rush to the inn to save everybody, and like you don't have time to do all the exploration. So I really wish they like, if there is some DLC or some expansion, they like add it in. But man, there's such a catch-22 there, because it's like you cannot do that without having the DLC take place during the time frame of Mass Effect 3's events. But it's like if you did that, that wouldn't make sense to be doing that when you should be saving the galaxy. So it's like I don't know how it's gonna work for BioWare, how they're gonna do that. So that's why I'm interested also to like see how they're gonna fix the ending with DLC. Or I guess they're not gonna fix anything. They just said they're gonna add new something elements, was it, or assets or something. Yeah. I just keep thinking to myself, man, I feel sorry for them. That's a hard spot to be in. Okay, let's see. Do I have anything else to say about side quests besides they're awesome and they worked? No. Okay, moving on. So yeah, everyone is suffering and needs help because of the scale and scope of the story, and Shepard's story or struggle are easily impressive and relatable. And like, yeah, like after the like very beginning to the end, there's just stuff going down like constantly, and it is so just like Mass Effect 3 is such a downer, man. Like there's like it's like it still has like the humor that it had in 2, and like there's some funny moments, and like there's like haha, that's funny, but it's like, man, for like the tone overall is just like really just dark and like not happy. It's like stuff goes down, man, like especially on Decia, man, the end of that like level, just depressing. It's like wow, just actually it's really cool, because it's like after the beginning that you get in the demo, it's like Earth is like effed, but then like every step of the way, it's like not just Earth, it's like every other planet. It's like and like you get to this like towards the end, you just like get a sense of, man, we're all effed. So it's like wow, just sure, yeah, towards the end, man, it's just like, and they start doing things like with like Shepard and his like interpersonal or her interpersonal dialogue, where it's like, I don't know if we're gonna win this, I don't know if we can do this. It's like, yeah, I got the sense of like I'd say the only 3 games that like really do a good job of this are let's see, Halo Reach, Resistance 3, and like Mass Effect 3, where it's like you're in a battle where it's like the stakes are high and you could lose, and like in the process of losing, like that's it, game over, like for your species. It's like they really did a good job of that, like Mass Effect 3. That like I haven't finished Resistance 3, really played it, but I hear did a good job of that. So yeah. Next point I'm just gonna skip over because, you know, it's kind of hard to talk about without spoiling it, so it's like, yeah, whatever. Dialogue interrupts, yes, they're back, even more well done, and yeah. Oh, dudes, I have a weird anecdote here. So basically, on 360, since I couldn't import my Shepard, I played the default Shepard, and then my first time through, I played as Action, which is like you don't choose the dialogue, so the game was just choosing it for me, and it was mostly Renegade. And this is my first time playing through as Renegade. I didn't know like which parts to like use the Renegade command interrupt, since I didn't know what would happen. And I had some really, really bad things happen, and it was very tragic and like schizophrenic with my Shepard. I was like, what are you doing? Like, no. It was pretty intense, and like it was cool too, because like that Shepard, since they hadn't played through the first 2 games, is like their stuff that get imported. Well, they didn't really import very much into 3, but like the stuff that like carried over from the first 2 games, whatever was there, is like completely different. So I had a completely different experience with that Shepherd than I will from whenever I get around to importing all my other Shepherds. That was pretty cool. It was still like a fresh take on the game, as opposed to I'd already played on PS3, so it's like that's completely different from when I played through Paragon on my Pimp Chip on PS3. So that's really awesome. So yeah, the nav point, there's like a nav point now where it's like, go here, do this. That's improved instead of the like push the right stick for arrow to point you in the direction. So that was awesome. Or it works better, I mean. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, and like the one ding I have is like the quest system. Like if you're scanning something, well, actually not if you're scanning something, but it works both ways actually. Because if you're in the Citadel, you overhear someone talking, it's like you get a quest to go do something or go scan something and find something and bring it back. And then like likewise, if you're on the galactic map and you're just like cruising around in the Normandy scanning stuff, you'll get something, but it won't say this is for this quest or go to this person to turn it in. And if you have the quest already, it won't say go here to find this thing for this person. And sometimes it does, but it's like it doesn't have like a notification on the journal in the map or on the journal in the menu when like you've completed it to go turn it back in. So that's weird. It's weird though, because like when you go to the Citadel, it'll tell you, it'll like have like a list of like important NPCs and like who you have like available to turn quests into, but it won't have it in the journal, which is weird how they did that, but whatever. Then like the last thing was like no hub worlds, but I already went over that. So yeah. Then like yeah, I guess like a short abridged version of the multiplayer is like it's awesome, and I wish there's like more to it, but with the week, like I said in the last video, like the weekly operations like add like incentive to keep playing, because in the demo I got to level 20 like really fast, and I was like, oh, I hope there's more reason to keep playing after I hit 20, and so there are, so that's cool, but I don't know. I actually like wish they could like revamp and improve upon it from like what's there. It's like I'm having fun with it and playing it. It's like that's not gonna get old. It's just I don't know, like it would be nice to see more done than just horde mode Redux. But I think that's it for this video. I kind of feel like it's kind of all over the place, but whatever. I think I got all my thoughts out about Mass Effect 3, so I'm good. It's been a month. I've been playing it nonstop. I kind of needed to get this out because we haven't recorded a podcast for like aimless forever, so it's just boiling up, man. So yeah, like, comment, favorite, subscribe, whatever. Or yeah, if you want to play multiplayer sometime, comment too. I can totally like add you on PSN and 360. I have it on PC, but I haven't played it. I'll jump on there too, sure, whatever, on Origin. My gamer tag's the same on all 3. It's the TKKN Master, like it's on this channel without the, so just, you know, send me an invite or whatever. And I'll add you. And I guess that's it for this video. So yeah, until next time, I'm now signing off. Oh wait, I guess I'll have a pause here to let the audio catch up with the video since it never syncs on this piece of crap webcam. I guess also, outro, it's like, enjoy whatever games you're playing or looking forward to. Xenoblade Chronicles comes out, Witcher 2, Prototype 2 comes out soon. So yeah, you know, there's always something to play and look forward to. Or you can pick up Mass Effect 3 and the other 2 games if you haven't jumped in on that, because it's awesome. But yeah, that's it for this video. Have fun and good game.